It is the RIOT podcast. Hello.
It's our Friday edition.
Yeah, we had a good time today.
A little spring to our step.
Yeah, we did.
Just glad to be at the end of the week.
Well, we've got a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, we did a food fight in this podcast. So we're trying the Olympic red, white, and blue popping Oreos. Mm-hmm. And we tried the salted caramel brownie ones, which you can watch when you're done with the podcast. You can watch our review of them at RadioU RIOT on our Facebook page.
Yep, so that was a lot of fun. And it's early on in the podcast, but I've got a monster truck rally to look forward to. So
I can't wait to hear. You have to take pictures.
I'm going to take pictures of myself or of all the other people there.
I want one of you selfie style with a big monster truck behind you.
Okay, I can try to organize that.
No. You are.
I'm going to.
It's not trying.
Well, see,
you're going to.
I will, but I never.
Get down to where the trucks are.
I'm not the type of person that ever takes pictures.
I know, that's why I want
myself.
You to. That's why
so
I
it's
want
very
you to.
important. This is it's gonna be out of character for me to do that.
If
but
not,
I'll
I'm
do
gonna
it
feel
for
like
you.
you're lying. So you need to make sure you're in the picture.
All right, I will take care of that. So that's a lot of fun. We also talked about how White Castle is really casting a wide net for their workforce.
You need a lot of help in the castle.
Yep.
And they need a lot more employees. So if you ever apply
there
for
can
a
only be
job
one
there,
king in the castle, but there's a lot of peasants, foot soldiers
that are needed.
Yeah, a lot of I don't want to say slaves, but what do they call it? It's like servants,
Yeah.
jesters.
They might just be contacting you.
Yeah, no matter what role you would like, White Castle is hiring for it, even if you've not applied at all.
I know, it's going to get to the point where they're just cold calling numbers.
Yeah,
and they're just
going through. They get like a phone book.
Yep,
and start trying to find people. Would you like to work at White Castle?
Good, we're hiring.
Let's see. We also. We share our thoughts on the Dune trailer because that was an exciting development yesterday. And we talk about Crocs and why they're suing Walmart.
Ooh, not just Walmart, but Walmart's the biggest out of it.
Right, but several other stores as well. So that's all there, and plus plenty more. You'll have plenty to enjoy over the weekend.
Enjoy over the weekend. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much for listening.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the RIOT podcast.
We watched the Dune trailer.
We did. So that came out, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Later in the day?
And it dropped, actually, I think it was right after the show ended.
Yeah.
And we both watched it.
What's your thoughts?
I think it looks like a good Star Wars.
Oh, it does.
Like a better
cast.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? I sounded like you might not have been as impressed.
I feel like I actually just watched the movie.
Yeah, that's true. They give a lot away, it feels.
It was a rather lengthy trailer. It looks very impressive. I just can't tell if, is that impressive to everybody? Because I feel like they expect this to be some mega, just amazing hit. And I just don't know if it's just a really, really great movie or looking movie.
Yeah.
But a lot of people want to watch it.
Yeah, well, it's made by the same guy, Denis Villeneuve.
Oh, I love when you say his name.
my French-Canadian brethren.
Really comes out with that.
He made, if you don't realize, Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
And, of course, that was very popular in some realms. It looked really good. And a certain type of person, that's just into that type of movie really liked it. But it didn't have broad appeal, even though they spent a ton of money on it. And I wonder if Dune will be like that. As much as they try, they really seem to be trying to promote it a lot.
Sure.
And they think they have a hit on their hands. But is it a little too niche, a little too sci-fi, space opera-y for the average person?
I guess we'll find out. And I didn't know if they moved it again or when is it coming out? Are we supposed to ask when does it come out? They seem to keep pushing and fighting on that one.
They didn't put the release date in the trailer.
Well, they
probably left that out because they know they're going to change it again.
That's exactly it. That movie's been moved around a whole lot to where I wouldn't put it on there.
Yeah. Well, the last I heard was it had been moved 2 weeks back in October. It was supposed to come out early in October, and they moved it back a couple weeks, but still in October.
Okay.
So I think it's the 21st or something, maybe right after my birthday. Maybe
it's their gift to you.
If we haven't gone back to the movies until then, maybe but it's on HBO Max. That's a movie though. It will be on HBO Max. you got to go see it in theaters, right? Like you can tell from the trailer.
No,
it's going to be a different experience.
I actually didn't think that. I thought I could watch that at home. Just in case. Just in case.
I'm kind of like you where I feel like I don't feel bad about watching any movie at home, but that will be better, much better in the theater. So
if you've seen the Dune mega long trailer from yesterday, let us know if you're interested in going to see it. If not, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is I imagine that the movie is very, 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 very long based off of who made it and the kind of movie it is. So
I can't do that anymore.
That's the other thing I'm worried about. Yeah, if it's 3 hours. I don't want to do that. Please don't try to teach me too much of a lesson. I just really don't want that out of the movies anymore. Did you notice the other thing? The last thing that I thought of was the cast is really impressive, isn't it?
It's everybody?
It's like everybody. Jason Momoa with a vengeance, as always.
It's the only way to get him into a movie.
Javier Bardem, Oscar Isaac, Timothy Chalamet, how do you say it? Zendaya?
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah, she's in Spider-Man and something. So it looks, I'm impressed. I've been on the fence about it because it just looks a little too nerdy for me, but maybe I've changed my mind because the trailer looks good.
Let's save any more opinions on it till October, till they move
actually
it,
seen it.
Or till they've seen it, and we'll see what happens. But you get a lot from the trailer from yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not. If they do release any more trailers, I don't want any more spoilers. I've seen enough already. Yeah.
The equivalent of someone's lint collection. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I want to know what you're getting into, Nikki, this weekend.
Ooh, what's the plans?
Yeah, a blackberry picking this time?
No, I actually have a 2-hour out and 2-hour back drive for something tomorrow.
Oh, is that this weekend?
That is tomorrow. And I know we'll talk about it on Monday, but I have a bit of a drive, so I'm going to go do something tomorrow.
Yay.
You're like, what is it? Is it a 2-hour away blackberries? No, it's not.
Nikki is really committed to getting her blackberries this weekend.
I am willing to go to the best place ever.
Actually, that blackberry would tie in perfectly to what you're picking up.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't that be so perfect?
Me of that? Yes. Oh, Hudson, that's amazing. Okay, but I'll tell you guys on Monday.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say yet, but I do have that, and that will kind of be my whole weekend.
Yeah. Okay, well, my whole weekend, I'm doing a monster truck rally tonight.
You are not.
Yeah.
You are?
At the county fair.
No.
Yeah.
Hudson, what are you doing? Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I've always wanted to see monster trucks.
You've never been like when you were a kid?
No, not monster trucks. And when I was at my county fair, this gives you a taste of what I grew up with. We were like the first county fair to do combine demolition derbies.
What is that? Like tractors?
A tractor combine, like the big, instead of just doing cars, they would get big combines out there with the teeth taken off.
Would they race them or would they fight?
They fight them until they ran out of gas or until they were disabled.
You did that? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we were like in the news everywhere because it was the first the Carroll County Fair.
Okay, hang on.
The first state to do that.
Were you in the news everywhere, or were you in the news only in Maryland?
Well, I think we were on like the farm channel.
I guess I didn't think Maryland was so farmy.
Oh, there's a lot of Maryland you don't know about.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's not all just Baltimore and the Eastern Shore even. There's all kinds of rural Maryland that is about as rural as you can get.
So you're going tonight to the monster truck?
Yeah, the monster trucks.
Will you take a picture?
Yeah, of course.
Will you post it?
On the RadioU, Facebook, and Twitter. Yeah.
I feel like it needs to be show related.
Yeah. Okay.
People need to see I think they need to compare and contrast the two weekends. Or like my weekend and your weekend.
Yeah.
Yours is going to seem much more exciting.
Well, of the people, I feel. I like to fit in. I'm the common man.
You're just
and
going
what
to the
common men do is go to the county fair and see monster trucks.
Is it free or is it?
No.
You had to pay?
Yes, I do have to pay. But it'll be worth it.
You pay the truck when you get there?
It'll be worth
it.
Yeah, no. And we've got the monster truck, and then I've got, obviously, the county fair food.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking forward to because I've said before, one of the big things you missed during the pandemic when everything was closed is you didn't get to go to the fairs. You didn't get to get the fair food. So I don't know what I'm going to get into. Some sweet corn, some
something.
That would be a little too healthy, I feel.
No,
some corn dogs.
I think they make it pretty unhealthy.
Yeah,
I think it's all right.
Just lube it up with butter so it just goes
Wow.
right down your throat.
Man,
That'll be good.
I thought you didn't have anything planned, but it sounds like you do.
Oh, it's a big weekend. It's going to be massive. You
Well,
can't
Chad
wait.
just texted in, said, "You're not alone, Hudson. We have a combine demo here in Lancaster County in Pennsylvania."
Hey, yeah, that's not
so
so
they have
far.
one too.
Yeah, they probably got the idea from us.
Oh my gosh. You can't let someone else have it, can you?
It's, hey,
It's your
everyone
town.
should have a combine demolition derby. It's a lot of fun.
We've done you a favor by selecting the best of the worst and compiling it all in one place. Riot Podcast Radio U.
I don't know if you've seen any posts going around. I feel like there's been more than just this one, but there's a post that's been going around, making the rounds on social media about a new stimulus check that we're supposed to be getting 1 week from today, July 30th. And I don't know if you know, but that's not real.
Oh, it's not.
No stimulus check is coming.
We like to be the bearer of bad news.
Yeah, sorry if you were expecting $2,500 next week.
That would have been nice.
Wouldn't it? That would be the biggest one.
So that would have been July 31st, but it's not even real at all.
Too good to be true, isn't it? It was supposed to be, next week. And apparently on the social media post, that if you actually click on a link or whatever to sign up, it takes you to a page with a gorilla giving you
a certain
giving
finger?
you one of the fingers. Guess which one?
Well, it's the pinky, isn't it? It's the worst of them all.
The worst finger.
How could they?
The most insulting finger. Somebody gets the pinky, gives you the pinky, and you feel horrible.
You're falling for it,
Yeah.
but instead you're getting that.
But what's worse, like putting in all your information and getting fished
Yeah.
or getting gorillaed with a big middle.
That's a new
big
one.
finger.
I would just like my my tax return from.
Yeah,
the
you're still waiting on that.
I haven't gotten it yet, and I've been asking around, and there's a lot of negative feelings about how fast the returns are going for some people. And I'm in that group, and I'm not as mean as some of the people that are waiting for theirs, but there's some aggression about that.
Man, you've been waiting for months. I think you're fully justified in getting mean about it.
And then every day,
and if the IRS was if you owed them money, it's not like they'd be like, I'll just check in again next month,
well,
see
I got
if
my
anything has
state one
happened.
already. Like that one came the week later, so I was fully ready to get my my refund back. And then everybody just keeps saying some comments about they're getting paid but not working. They're not doing the return or the refunds and stuff. But I still check every day. I'm that desperate for it.
One day it'll come in.
I know. I'll see it. It'll change.
You're desperate, Nikki. We can help.
Well, not like that. But now it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Because I'm checking for it and it should already be there. So it's not like I'm desperate for the return. That would be nice.
Yeah, but it's your money. You know you need to get involved.
Julian texted, also in the same boat, still waiting on my taxes too.
You know who you should get involved?
Who?
J.G. Wentworth.
Wow.
It's your money and you need it now.
I would like that.
You need cash now.
Well, if let's see, Julian, Jason just texted in, same boat as well, still looking for my return from February.
What?
Oh, no, man, I'm going to have to wait forever.
Now I feel bad for getting mine right away. Like the first day I was able to get it.
That's awful.
Yeah, well, I did my taxes right away because they're pretty easy.
Yeah.
And now I feel bad about it because I got all the money that you guys should have been getting.
Anybody else still waiting for your tax return? Hop on the boat with everybody texting into.
Well, maybe you actually will get your tax return next weekend, like the stimulus thing says, and then it'll just be like you did get the stimulus.
I don't need a hoax right now. I need my actual
you need
tax
your
return
real
money.
tax return.
So if you were looking for that on July 30th, though, that stimulus thing that's going around, that is not true.
That one's not real. Hate to burst your bubble there.
We would say rate and review the podcast. But let's be honest, that would probably hurt more than help. The worst of the Riot Podcast.
So we're ready to try some Oreos
Yes.
in honor of the Olympics. This is really all we could find. We're doing the red, white, and blue layers of cream with popping candy from Oreos.
Yep,
And then we're also trying the caramel, the chocolate brownie ones.
I have those right here.
Those look good.
If you're watching the video.
Salted caramel brownie Oreos, which I think is a limited flavor.
Yes.
That's the new one to try.
That's the first new flavor they've done in a while. And for the Olympic Oreos, I feel that with all the Olympic promotions that have been canceled, this is one of the only things that, that you can actually get that's Olympic themed.
Okay, now you ready for this though? I don't know why, but okay, look at the packaging and what does it show you like for the Oreo? See how it says red, white, and blue? Uh-huh. Look at your Oreo and tell me what you notice.
Blue is noticeably absent in my Oreo. Is that what you're talking about?
Can you look at the entire like pans of Oreos over here and tell me also what's missing?
So what? They just
there's no blue
totally
icing.
skip. Oh no, it's in there if you peel it apart.
It's very, very
that's
small.
a thin layer. For some reason, they skimped on the blue.
So like
that's
on the
weird.
packaging, the blue is overflowing and you see it like within the white and the red.
Yeah, and it looks very like they're all uniform.
Yeah, but not in this case. So you're right. It is there, but you can't see it at all.
Literally the whole package looks like it's just red and white.
Just red and white Oreos.
All right, so that one first.
So this one has supposedly popping candies in it for you to try.
And it says Team USA.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the blue is the popping part. That's why it's not so much. Do you have any popping? Oh, wait, there was one.
I think I'm getting it. Can you hear it?
Kinda.
I just hear me chewing.
I'm just looking. I'm trying to hear it. Oh, wait, there it is. Did you catch it? Did you hear it?
I heard it.
I don't feel it, but I think it's there.
We've had other popping candy Oreos that have had more pop in them.
I really do bet you that blue layer is the popping candy
Maybe.
part.
Once you actually chew through the Oreo, you get like a couple sparse pops.
Yeah, every so often.
Like just spread out.
So a lot like this Olympics. This is very disappointing.
I mean, they taste okay.
Yeah, they're not bad. It's just a normal taste.
Do you think they taste a little old? Like a little stale? Like they were made for the last for when the Olympics were supposed to happen?
Were they for last summer?
Yeah, and they just kept them all this long?
I don't know. They did. They said that was kind of the problem with, what was it, the Lady Gaga Oreos? That a lot of those were stale because they pushed those back. I really get very little popping.
All right, here's an idea.
What? You just going to lick the blue part?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take the cream out only.
And just take that part and see? Thanks for trying.
Yeah.
You're trying to get it to work.
I'm going to give Oreo a fair chance.
Yeah. Every so often you'll get a little tiny crackle like in the back of your throat.
Yeah, it's really
but that's
hardly anything.
Well, let's try the other one. So your other RIOT Food Fight item is the salted caramel brownie Oreos.
They have salt on them.
They actually smell pretty good. It's got like a brownie and a caramel inside, the chocolate cookie, and then a light layer of salt on the top.
I'm getting a little more of the pop now from the
in
cream
the back,
that I ate. Yeah.
Well, I think we have to move on from those. I don't think those are going to give us any more. Well, when you put your tongue, when you taste the salt part, that's weird. That is very weird. Oh, salty. What do you think? The salt is so odd. Very, very odd. Very
salty. It's like
salty
and it's very very chocolatey.
You think it's too salty? That's so strange. I feel like we're not supposed to salt our Oreos, so it just goes really against what we're used to doing.
You know what? At the end of the day, I think I like it.
You like it better than the other one?
I think it's pretty good.
Gosh, the salt is strange. It's like when you get a pretzel and you have to brush all the salt off, like if they put too much on it. But the flavor's good. It's just a lot of salt to it.
It's a lot of. Okay, we got to do the same thing with this one. How does the cream taste on its own?
Man, I just wish I miss regular Oreos, don't you?
Yeah.
We haven't had those in a while.
Or like a really good flavor of an Oreo.
The mega ones, the big ones.
The birthday cake.
Yeah, the insides, it's good of the salted caramel brownie ones. It's just the outside. If you don't like the salted part, then I don't think you're going to like this.
It's actually surprisingly, I don't get a lot of the caramel flavor. It's really kind of
brownie?
like the double chocolate Oreos, and then you got the salt on it. So it's pretty good, though. I give that one gets a silver medal, and the other one gets a bronze.
Made from recycled electronics.
Yes, recycled Oreos from
I feel like they're both just a little disappointing. I know there'll be another fall flavor coming out, but the salted caramel brownie one, it's just that and the Olympic one. They're not the best ones we've had.
The RIOT isn't all bad, but this is the worst of the RIOT. Radio U.
Now, if you want to hit the movies this weekend, you actually want to go out to the theater and catch a movie, you could watch Old.
Which one's old? Oh, the M. Night Shyamalan one.
Yes.
That one looks weird.
That's out this weekend.
That was supposed to be out forever ago.
Was it really?
I think so.
You're saying the movie is old?
Movie's old.
The movie itself is old?
I thought so. And
I don't know. I remember the first trailer dropping during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And everybody thought this is stupid. Look how ridiculous this is. And it was one of those things where the idea of the movie and then the trailers and stuff, it's so ridiculous. You kind of think, well, it has to actually maybe be good or else why are they even promoting it? You know what I mean?
Did anybody watch his Apple TV, the M. Night Shyamalan Apple TV show that he did?
I didn't know he even had one.
That one looked kind of spooky, but people said it was actually good.
Really?
He's gotten better.
Really? I was just thinking when I saw this, because the reviews are coming out and they're it's kind of fun, but it's if it didn't have his name attached to it, it would probably be a movie that would be not paid as much attention to, but it has its fun moments and its interesting moments, and it also just is kind of stupid, and he really over-explains why the people are turning old.
Well, that's what he kind of does in his stuff.
Yeah, right, and there's probably a big twist.
You need to read the whole line. Old isn't bad, except when it's terrible. Then it's really bad.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by it, and it is one of those things with M. Night Shyamalan's movies, at least when they aren't really good, they're still kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
With even what was that one with not James Franco, the guy who played Professor X, the young Professor X, what is his name? McAvoy. Is it James McAvoy?
Oh, is it Splinter or
Split? Yes. That movie was horrible, but it was kind of entertaining.
Well, the least you could do was remember its name.
Yeah, there we go. I finally, after a little while, I guess that's why he keeps getting blockbuster budgets and stuff and big summer releases, because at least his movies, again, a lot of times they're really not good.
Well, all you have this weekend is that, and then you have Snake Eyes, which is the G.I. Joe one.
I'm sure some people are interested in that. I'd rather see Old for sure. I'm truly interested in Old. I just don't, but not in a way where I bet you this is going to be great.
Not in a way I want to pay.
Yeah, right.
Don't want to pay. Don't want to pay for Snake Eyes.
If Old was on HBO Max, I'd be all in. I'd make a point to watch it. But yeah, it's just go spend $20 to go see it in the theater. Not sure that I'm going to do that.
Well, I guess we'll catch up on Monday and see what the box office results from the weekend will be.
Yeah, I wonder which one will be the top.
They're also still saying, Space Jam's out there too.
Yeah, of course it is.
That's about all you get.
And Black Widow also, but nobody seems to want to watch that anymore.
That has really dropped off.
Yeah, it has Disney and Marvel concerned, it looks like.
Now, Space Jam could do that.
Oh my gosh, you're a hater, Nikki.
I just don't. I hate when they're like, here, I think the only reason they made that movie was when they hit so many advertising opportunities.
Yeah.
That's it's a delivery device for a commercial.
They needed so many, they wanted to make so many box office dollars, and then all the other dollars were made in advertisements in the movie.
So M. Night Shyamalan, that's how I call him, Old, and then Snake Eyes, that's the big things for the weekend.
All right, well, if you guys see him, text in and let us know, and we'll talk about it probably on Monday.
Seriously, when you're in the theater, while you're waiting for it to start, text us there.
Text us then.
And tell us
text
how
us
it is.
as soon after. Give us your first impression. We want a full review.
That is helpful for us on Monday.
If you've ever asked yourself, just how bad can it get? We've got your answer right here. Worst of the RIOT. Radio U.
Nikki, are you one of the people, you're sitting at a stoplight?
Yeah.
And the stoplight is about to turn green. So you take your foot off of the brake and start slowly rolling forward. Do you do that?
I wait because you never know when you're going to get tripped up by because you can see when it's going to change, if it's going to turn green.
Right.
But then you never know if the other side's going to get an arrow or something.
You don't know.
And then you look like the over anxious, eager beaver.
Yeah.
And you're not going anywhere.
I see people doing this all the time. And every time I just think to myself, I know I'm being very judgy, but I'm just why are you doing that? that.
Yeah.
Yes, you're able to predict that the light is going to turn green in a few moments. Very good for you. But what are you accomplishing?
What are you saving?
By slowly inching forward? It's not like if you you're shaving a second off of your time and you're going to get into work a second earlier because you you started inching forward at all the stoplights.
Some people are just so done with it and they're just ready to get through.
They just hate to wait.
You know what I actually see more of in the morning? Because again, Hudson and I were at work real early in the morning, which means we're driving into work even earlier.
Yep.
I see people that inch forward and then they just go for it. Even though it hasn't turned yet.
Yes, I've seen that too.
They absolutely will run the red light and no one's around, so they don't feel like they need to even wait at the light.
I've seen that not even at night or like during the day. Like just people will, because what'll happen is they'll start slowly inching forward. There's a particular light at my house that I've seen this near my house. I've seen this happen several times. Because they do what you said. They start inching forward.
And then they don't care.
They think that their light is going to turn green, but it doesn't. One of the other ones does. But by that time, they're so far ahead.
They're just like, to it.
Oh, no, I'm going to get hit. I've got to go.
And I mean, I've seen motorcycles go. And I know if you're on a motorcycle, I think you can, because you can obviously all the time trip the sensor and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I've seen motorcycles go through, but like these are just full red on lights.
Yeah.
And you don't want to wait anymore.
It's just funny to see people's behavior. Like just our impatience for some people's impatience runs so deep. They can't wait an extra half a second at a stoplight.
Yeah, you're just
they feel like they're wasting their time if they don't start moving just a little bit.
So I'm not like that.
Okay, good.
I'm ready to go too. Like I'm ready to get moving, but I don't start inching forward until it turns green.
You can just press, if you want to catch up with that person, you just press the gas a little harder, and all of a sudden you've accomplished the same thing.
Well, I used to live
without possibly running the red light.
I used to live in one area, and this kind of taught me to not do that, because this one light near my house, and again, we go very early. So when you get cars around you, they're on a mission. And so this one light was a semi-truck route, like a real big delivery one.
Yeah.
And they would always run the lights there the other way.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times they almost just slam right into you because you have the green light, but they're not stopping.
Yeah.
And so I would always have to wait, sometimes even up to a minute after. Like, you don't go through the light when yours turn green, because they're still coming through the other way.
You don't know. You
just have to stop and slow down.
Extra caution, especially in the wee hours of the morning. But
that's when people really
there's
don't
just
care.
no accounting for people's behavior 24 hours a day.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, I don't know if you know this, Nikki, but we are now less than 2 weeks away from the beginning of the NFL preseason.
We are.
Yes, the
Yay!
Hall of Fame game 2 weeks from last night.
Now, again, I'm more interested in college football, but it'll all be around the same time.
Football it's so
Football's
exciting.
Football.
Yeah, football is football. You're so right about that. Well, the NFL season is about to return, and yesterday they made a big splash by sending out a memo to the league, like to all the different teams, where they basically said, if any games cannot go on because players are testing positive for the virus and they aren't vaccinated, it's not going to be like last year where they're going to find a way to reschedule it basically no matter what.
Yeah.
If the case is you've got COVID positive people that are unvaccinated and that's preventing you from playing, that game's just going to be canceled, and that's going to count as a loss for that team.
Because I was looking, when I saw a bit of it yesterday, it seemed like they were wanting to make it okay to have like an extra game. And that extra game would give teams a way to push it to, like, if they had lost enough players because of quarantine and stuff, that they'd be able to still make it up by this extra game.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen.
But they say probably no, and so teams are just a bit worried that even if vaccinated, they still had enough players who would test positive or have COVID stuff that they would then lose the game.
Well, they said that basically, last year, you remember, they only had to reschedule a few games. It was a big headache, it looked like, to reschedule that.
As many as I think people were anticipating.
No, and once you got a certain point into the season, everything ran incredibly smoothly, like really surprisingly so. And now things were a little different last year. Nobody was vaccinated, but there was a lot less to do. So this year it's going to be a lot different where everything is kind of out in the open. But I think what they're doing here is really trying to say, everybody, you can't make people get vaccinated, but they're really trying to say everybody that can, unless you have a real reason, and a real reason as in like you medically can't get vaccinated. Because the thing is, because this is the other thing I was thinking about, at what point are we going to just stop saying if people test positive for COVID that we're just not going to keep quarantining them or whatever? You know what I mean?
You mean like, will it come to a point where you don't have to even if you do test positive?
Or maybe where, like, let's say you have one player test positive on the team where everybody they came in contact with doesn't have to quarantine also.
I don't know.
So that it doesn't totally disrupt things.
Because if not, say you had a player who tested positive, but they were vaccinated.
Yeah.
Do they let that team then slide for? Because, I mean, they're making it about if you.
That is what they. I don't know if they'll have to reschedule the game or if they'll call it like what they will do with that.
Yeah, it's messy.
But they do have much different rules for if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. And again, it really seems like they're trying to say to everybody, if you aren't vaccinated, anything that happens to you is your own fault. And I kind of think like, what else are you supposed to do at this point? Because if there's people that cannot get vaccinated medically, then you're making them unsafe, because if they have reasons they can't get vaccinated, there's also probably reasons that the coronavirus would be really bad for them.
Sure.
So if there's other people that are not getting vaccinated voluntarily, the virus may not affect them. But if they're out there with people that can't get vaccinated, that's when it's dangerous.
Well, here's what I think we should all remember is for the NBA players and the baseball players and the NFL players. I know that you're not like in the bubble like last year was for a lot of them. Yeah. But I think that some still need to act a bit more like you're in a bubble and less in the club.
You got to focus on the season.
Yeah, and being safer during the season on how you're exposing yourself. But otherwise, this really does seem messy.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, they already said, I think like over half of the teams have an 80% vaccination rate. Like it shouldn't be a big deal. I'd be very surprised, but they are making the news because they're really taking a stand on it. It seems like that they don't want. There's a lot of money involved, and they don't want all that money to go away because people aren't getting vaccinated when they are able to.
They don't want to reschedule anything.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a headache. It really. We don't either.
Sure.
I don't want to have to reschedule stuff.
I know. I hear you.
There's no fresh by date because it was spoiled when they made it. Worst of the riot. RadioU.
This could be what brings Walmart down.
Afraid to ask. What is it?
Crocs is suing them.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, or did they make a version that kind of looks like it?
Yeah, Crocs is actually suing not just Walmart, also Hobby Lobby and 19 other retailers for all making or selling at least copycat versions of Crocs.
Yeah.
And you're thinking...
They're rocks. They're just slightly off.
It's Crocs with a K.
Yeah, it's totally different.
But you're thinking, well, like everywhere sells fake Crocs, right? That like once Crocs blew up, everywhere started making the same exact shoe. Mm-hmm. But the reason that they are suing Walmart and Hobby Lobby and these other places is because they're selling a specific shoe for $10. Where the, you know how Crocs have the holes on top?
Yeah.
The holes match the holes.
Oh, is that like a pattern or something?
Yeah.
Oh.
So because actually Crocs even says, apparently in the lawsuit, they said there's no reason, there's virtually an infinite number of different non-infringing footwear styles basically they're saying you could make something similar to Crocs
that they can't sue you
that you can't sue on. And there's plenty of options for that, but they chose to have these options that are really virtually the same looking as Crocs, and so they say it's hurting the Crocs brand.
Well, it is because they filed a suit against 21 businesses for selling similar versions of the clogs. The biggest issue is because they sell them for $10.
Yeah, right.
Where Crocs, those clogs are not $10.
No, they're not.
And it hurts your brand because Crocs, they don't cost them that much to make them. Like their profit margin must be pretty wide. And it hurts them by seeing basically the same shoe for $10, which means it's made for even less than that.
Yep, which means you can tell, like if you're somebody, you're like, hey, they can make the Crocs for less.
Oh, we're talking a lot less.
Yeah, a lot less. And it makes you, even if you want the Crocs brand name, you're thinking $50. That is, that's obviously more than I want to pay. So I'm going to go for something cheaper. So yeah, there's a lot of decent reasons business-wise why it makes sense for Crocs to file a lawsuit. I don't know if they'll win or anything.
Yeah.
But maybe in the end, the real losers will be all of us because you won't be able to get the knockoffs for $10 anymore.
Good call on that. You won't be able to get the cheap ones. So Walmart is still in a lawsuit with Yeezy for Kanye West because he says that their foam sliders are also copied for Walmart, and it's virtually something that you can't tell the difference between the two. So it's too close to being the Yeezy brand one. So they sued Walmart too.
Wouldn't it be so nice to be such a big company that you could just infringe on all these different copyrights and not care? Hey, so what if they sue? It'll still be making plenty of money. We'll make more selling these knockoffs than we'll have to pay to settle out of court.
Well, you wonder, for Walmart, do they give them a portion of what they made? Can they still sell them? Does it work out for Yeezy? Does it work out for Crocs because they're getting money? Like, I don't know how it ends up, or if they just can't sell them anymore.
Right.
But it seems like there is, I want to be the legal department of Walmart and all these places.
That's what they pay you for.
You're busy.
So that you can sort out Crocs lawsuits.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
Does anyone else notice this, that when you're watching the news, getting opinion on stuff that's going on in the world, especially with politics, but just kind of with life, it always seems now like you're supposed to be the opposite of the other person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where it's not like, here's what we think, and so we are trying to do these things because this is what we think is right. It's always, this is what the other guy is doing, which we think is wrong, so we want to be the opposite of whatever that guy is doing. And so we wind up picking the other guys and saying we're just going to be the opposite of them, and that's how we base everything off of.
Everybody has to be on a side?
Yes. Yeah. But the problem with that is when you're just when your whole belief system is, I'm going to be the opposite of that, when that changes, then your belief system has to constantly change. And then it's like, well, why did you say this thing then and that thing now? Because that guy changed. That just makes you kind of sound ridiculous. But it really is what a lot of us do. The funny thing is, where you won't even have an opinion on something until the other guy has an opinion. Then it's like, well, my opinion is the opposite. What research have you done? I just know what he thinks, and I know he's wrong all the time.
That one's common.
Yeah, and man, that is just no way to live your life. Because again, you're going to wind up going back on things you said earlier because the other guy went back on things he said earlier because you went back on things it's just a constant back and forth. But here's where you can be different. Because God wants us to be different. And when you have a relationship with God, a lot of it is about being different from the world. When you have a relationship with God, it's not about being the opposite of somebody else. It's about getting closer to God. If you're in a relationship with Jesus, it's not about always getting further and further away from whatever the bad guy is doing. It's about getting closer and closer to what God wants you to do. Jesus cares about you and he loves you, and his belief system, his layout for life isn't going to change. It's not reactionary to what the bad guys are doing. God is always there saying, this is the right way to do things. If you do this, you're going to have a better life, and I'm going to help you do that. Jesus cares about you. He loves you, and he wants to be a part of your life, and he wants to be that guiding star for you where you can always focus on that and not focus on just being opposite. If you're ready for that, God's ready to help you out. Jesus is ready to go through life with you and guide you through. And all you need to do is ask, say, hey, God, I'm ready for a change. I'm ready to start doing things differently, and not just differently to react to somebody, but differently because I know you want me to do things different.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
It's no secret that a lot of restaurants, particularly fast food restaurants, and just a lot of industries in general, especially if they're lower on the wage spectrum, having a hard time getting employees to come to work, having a hard time hiring people.
They are, which I said before, and I'll say it again because I read this article about it. If you were willing to go into a place and go work.
Yep.
You could make management so fast.
Yeah.
Way when this starts turning and changing, eventually this will. It always goes like this. But this will go back to where it could be hard to find a job, or you got to start at the bottom.
It'll get there.
If you worked hard at the bottom now, because they need anybody, you could run the show.
You'll already have a leg up.
You could totally totally be like making so much money as management if you just, tried right now.
Yeah.
But I throw that out there in case anybody's like, but I don't want to do this. Well, you don't have to. They'll sign you on as manager.
Yeah.
You can start big.
As somebody who's worked in food service, and this isn't really like a slight, I'm sure a lot of the managers I worked with would say this also. You don't have to be that smart to be a manager.
Exactly. They'll take anybody. Yeah. I'm talking like you could be a franchise owner pretty soon if you just started now.
Work your way up. You'll be running the show for sure.
They're having so many problems just finding anybody doing anything.
Well, and so this is what's happening with White Castle, where they've admitted they have sent out, or they've been reaching out to past applicants. They've sent out like 550,000 where they've reached out to different applicants recently.
Oh, to people who tried to apply but didn't get hired before?
Yeah, or maybe never even got contacted in the first place. And they've been contacting people that have applied as far back as 2017.
Whoa.
So you could have applied to White Castle in 2017, 4 years ago.
And they didn't think you were good enough then.
I know, that's the sad part.
They didn't hire you.
You weren't good enough for White Castle the first time,
now
which I'm sad
to
say. When I got started working, I definitely applied to several places where they didn't
take you?
They didn't even call me back or anything. And I'm not talking like radio. I mean in fast food and stuff, which is that's pretty sad when you're reaching out to Taco Bell and they don't even get back to you. But
so now if you did and you never heard from them, if it was back to even 2017, it's not just White Castle. There's a lot of places that are going back a few years.
Cheesecake Factory specifically, there was a story where they reached out to someone who had applied 2 years ago. They're working at a law firm now, so I don't think they're interested.
If you were the Cheesecake Factory person, so like, are you not wanting to come work at the factory? You don't want to?
We've got free food.
So if you applied to a place years and years and years ago, don't be surprised if you hear from that place because they're trying to find people to work and they're doing anything.
Yeah, I told Nikki, I get phone calls, and I'm sure we all do all the time, from these random numbers. You don't know what they are, but sometimes they're local numbers. It's just like you don't know who it is, and they don't leave a message or anything. And I always assume that's a robocall for some spam or whatever.
It's not a Cheesecake Factory.
What if it's all these White Castles and they're calling me? I don't even remember applying to White Castle years ago.
I know you worked at Panera. They want you back.
They want me. Oh, they would make me manager. That's for sure.
Instant.
Yeah, I just think it is funny. They say for White Castle, about 32,000 people have actually expressed interest of the 550,000 that they reached out to.
I
wonder how many of those are from 4 years ago.
It's a good question.
If you applied 4 years ago and you're still interested.
Well, maybe
you haven't had a good 4 years.
But maybe you're working at a place where you can get more money then.
Yeah.
So if they're providing an attractive
it's
option,
fast food. You're not making more money.
You don't know. Maybe the White Castle, it's a castle. There's money in castles.
Maybe White Castle, you wound up working at Crystal Burgers instead. And so they like your experience, and now you're going to make you a manager for White Castle.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.